Ultra Ego is an awful form. For Vegeta. Thank you to our $5 patrons Strawbones, Well4765, Midnight Gemlord, Sean, and Artgoon. And a very big thank you to our $25 patron Alex Ice Rose. Now, if we have this breakdown / discussion on how Ultra Ego is a pretty terrible form, please leave your own list on Ultra Ego in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification bell to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. Use for result as $1 monthly exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month and get the same perks and more. Now, let's hop into the discussion. What's up, guys? Pencil here, and Ultra Ego is kind of disgusting. Like, disgustingly bad. Like, I seriously feel bad that this is Vegeta's path to power. And here's the thing, right? Ultra Ego as a concept is mixed for me. Unlike Ultra Instinct, something that was kind of being hyped up as early as the Frieza saga, or the resurrection of Frieza saga. I'm not gonna say that Ultra Instinct was being hyped up on Namek. But with that being the case, Ultra Instinct had a lot more build up as a potential form, a potential path for somebody to go down, a state that somebody could reach. It's what Whis was training Goku and Vegeta for the entirety of, realistically, their whole training period. Like, sure, he wanted to get them God Ki and all that, but Goku already had God Ki and Vegeta very quickly got it, so what were they training for? It wasn't just for power, it's for Ultra Instinct. And thusly, the culmination of it in the Tournament of Power is really, really good because it had a whole lot of build up to it. We got to see a consistent example of it in Whis. Whis is goated, the Angels are goated, all that's goated. And the thing is, the God of Destructions themselves are very, very cool. I like the concept a lot, especially considering we had so many gods of creation, right? Like, we had the Kais, we had Kami, we had the Supreme Kais, like, so many beings meant to create and persist and help life develop. It seems only natural that there would be a counterbalance to that, a balance of people that are meant to destroy things, just in case the Kais get a little too creation happy and make too many species, and or they're just bad people around. Like, the Kais make a mistake and bada bing bada boom, you have a Lord Frieza running around. You need someone who's able to come in there and put Lord Frieza in check. And I think that's why the God of Destructions as a concept work well. However, unlike the Angels, I will have to admit, their power is just a lot less interesting to me. Mainly because Hakai is cool. Do not get me wrong. The ability to erase things from existence is always neat to me. Not overly neat, but neat enough. Like, I like that characters from Kingdom Hearts can do it. I like that characters from Seven Deadly Sins can do it. I like that it's an ability that is really, really useful that a lot of characters have access to. But in concept, it's just destroying something. It doesn't fundamentally change how you fight. It doesn't fundamentally allow you to develop in a whole different path. It doesn't change anything about you, really. It's just, haha, I have new attack that can erase you from existence. When realistically, we're in Dragon Ball. Like, sure, you aren't getting erased from existence. Your soul will go away. But you get hit in the face with a Kamehameha, and you're weaker than the person who's sending the Kamehameha to your face, and you perish. I don't really need to get you up out of here from, like, every single perspective like Hakai does when I can already fire massive energy blast that'll do effectively the same thing. Unless you come back with your soul or something like that, I do not need to Hakai you. And thusly, when Vegeta went under the path of Beerus, I was a little bit concerned. Mainly because my brain went, okay, so this is obviously just dividing Goku and Vegeta, so Vegeta can get his own unique thing and Goku can have his own unique thing, so they can actually be proper rivals for the first time in the entire series, because no, they have barely ever been proper rivals. I guess you could hypothetically say Resurrection of F, they were rivals because they were truly equals. They both had the same forms and all that. But even then, Goku immediately got Kaioken the arc right after that, and Vegeta was left behind. Then, in the manga, Vegeta got full power. Actually, no. In the manga, Goku got full power too, which is something that Vegeta didn't have until later. And then, in the anime, Vegeta got Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, or I think that's it, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution? Yeah, it was that. The super shiny pastel colored form. But the thing is, Goku had already revealed that he had Ultra Instinct, which was way stronger than that. Super Saiyan Blue Evolution was just a catch-up to Kaioken times 20. So, obviously, Vegeta's been lacking behind. So, don't get me wrong, I was very happy that Toriyama and Toyotar were actually going out of their way to give Vegeta his own unique thing. I think that is necessary. If you want to have your characters be rivals, have them actually be rivals, and not just have the main character consistently leading. That's something I like about Naruto a lot. Naruto and Sasuke are rivals. And for a majority of that series, Sasuke, despite being the Deuteragonist, kind of whoops on Naruto. Like, legitimately through a lot of the series. Sure, there are definitely times when Naruto stops him, but still. That's that balance there that is achieved very well in Naruto that isn't necessarily ever achieved in Dragon Ball. Like, one of them is just always stronger than the other definitively. It's rarely ever that the two are truly rivals in different ways. So Toriyama and Toyotaro deciding to do this is not where I have a problem. Heck, once again, like I said, I do find Hakai just a little bit boring, but I don't think it's like entirely uninteresting. The effects of it in the anime are something I like too. Notably, the manga just does it where the Hakai is like a big old blast. At least when it's first introduced. When Beerus Hakai Zamasu in the manga, it's just a big old blast. But I really like it in the anime, where the Hakai is much less a like violent and graphic process, much like the deities themselves. It's a lot more like oddly refined. It's more like fine mist vaporization. Like when Zamasu gets Hakai'd and you see like every single one of his particles slowly fade away out of existence, that's really, really cool. And even the manga does a very interesting take on it when it introduces Hakai as like a tiny bit of power to destroy something, but because you are absolutely annihilating it, it has the atomic effect as if you were destroying atoms. Admittedly, it's not to the same degree. If you were to actually destroy that many atoms, like even in the tiny rock Vegeta had on his finger, if you were to destroy that many atoms at once, the explosion would not be that small. It would probably like fill up the entire screen, but obviously you can't have that for like storytelling reasons and stuff like that, and you gotta be able to see things. So I get why it isn't done like that, but I think Hakai can be interesting. But obviously the natural question was, okay, you can give Vegeta Hakai, but he's never going to be able to use that on Goku. We're not, like, at least in my mind, you weren't going to existence erase Goku. Like, at least, I'm not sure if that's too outlandish a claim to make, but I believe Goku is in fact the main character of Dragon Ball, and you cannot entirely erase him from Dragon Ball, I suppose. Like, sure, you could hypothetically bring him back with the Super Dragon Balls, but are we really going that far out of the way? Like, I just don't think Akira Toriyama or Toyotaro would actually write that because it's too much of a hassle. It'd be too annoying. So we are going to do that. So why give Vegeta this? Why give him specifically Hakai? Because the thing is, with Ultra Instinct can be used on Vegeta or any of Goku's friends. Because yeah, it's extremely powerful, it's extremely fast, but it's more so a fighting style, a fighting technique, a way of attacking and existing, obviously also with the transformation. You could use that against friend or foe. You could have an intense rivalry match with no real, like, death stakes with Ultra Instinct, but not with Hakai, because if someone gets hit with Hakai, they die. And not like die, but like perish. Not like perish, but like get erased from existence. And we aren't doing that to Goku. So there are either two paths you could go down. You could go down the anime route where Goku is just strong enough to resist Hakai as long as he has enough power relative to the Hakai that he's hit with, like we saw when Frieza hit him with an Hakai, and we saw how Frieza resisted Hakai. So maybe you could just do the whole resistance thing. That is set up in Dragon Ball. If you are strong enough, you can resist the properties of certain attacks. Even if they're hacks-based, you can just dookie all over them and bada bing bada boom, you're good. But even then, that was an anime-only thing. It was only in the anime. In the manga, we don't know if characters can resist Hakai. We've never seen it before. So from manga continuity, there's no real confirmation or anything like that. It could be that way, but at the same time, it couldn't be. And that's the concerning thing, which is why I don't think it would ever be the case that Vegeta would use Hakai on Goku and Goku would just resist it. But the thing is, if Goku can just resist it, then what's the point of giving him Hakai? That was my initial thought process. I was like, either A, you're going to existence erase Goku, which you're not going to do because he's the main character, or B, Goku just completely negates the technique all over again and it's basically useless. Neither of those seem to make sense for me. And then we get to the main point of the video, Ultra Ego. Now, aesthetically, I already talked about how I don't like this form. Why? It's another recolor, except it takes away the eyebrows. I'm sorry, I love Super Saiyan 3, but take a wild guess about what my least favorite part of that form aesthetically is. Yeah, it's the lack of eyebrows. I still to this day do not understand it. I've like seen a whole bunch of videos talking about Super Saiyan 3 aesthetically from people much better artists than I and people with much more like art knowledge than I have, and no one's been able to actually rationalize the lack of eyebrows to me. Because I don't think it can. Like the worst, well, not the worst, but the only rationalization I've seen for it is that it taps into the more animalistic roots of the Saiyans. And thusly, since their grade 8 forms don't have eyebrows, they shouldn't have eyebrows. But still, even on an aesthetic level, I just don't like it. Even if that is the supposed reason behind it, I still don't like it because it just looks ugly. And Ultra Ego is no better. Like, and in the way Toyotaro draws it too, he makes the meat brows extra thick. Like, ever go to a restaurant and you'd be like, hey, can I get like a piece of pepperoni pizza? And they like send you out that pepperoni and you can tell the guy who was chopping up the pepperoni didn't feel like actually doing a decent job. So you have those like overly super thick, and I'm not talking about like the good thick, because I'll admit sometimes you need some good thick pepperoni, especially on the right kind of pizza. You need a good thick pepperoni. But like, no, it's literally, you can see what they cut, and it's like as big as a section of your finger. If it's that thick, I'm not really rocking with it. And that's the same thing with Vegeta's eyebrows. The way Totoro draws it, he's just so bulky. He's so thick in the meat brows, and the meat brows specifically. And I don't like that aesthetically. One other thing with the recolor. I know, it would be crazy and bonkers and kind of stupid to give it like either A, Super Saiyan 3 hair, or B, any sort of like special hair change, especially considering, like, look at all of Vegeta's forms up to this point. They all look the same. They're all just recolors. They either have lightning and or red and or blue. He gets skinnier in God, but that's about it. Like, legitimately, all the forms do just naturally look the same. But Ego continuing that trend, not something I'm a big fan of. The eyes are something I kind of like, though. I won't lie, I do like the color of the eyes. And obviously, like, the color purple itself all works really well for Vegeta. It's a double entendre. One, Hakai is purple, so obviously Vegeta's eyes are going to be purple. And two, Vegeta's royalty, and purple is the color of royalty, so it makes sense that he would get the purple form. I get it. I understand all of it. But aesthetically, it's just not a form for me. I don't know. I think it, like, weirdly enough, the multicolor fatigue didn't hit me until Ultra Ego. Like, up for the longest time, I think until Ultra Ego was introduced, you would have never heard me complain about, like, everything being the exact same, but just with different colors, just because I was so indifferent to it. I was like, yeah, but it's Dragon Ball. It has that extra flair. Ultra Ego, I don't know, it kind of, like, shot it for me. Maybe it was the meat brows in combination with the recolor, but one way or another, it just didn't work out for me. However, that's not the only way it didn't work out. Ultra Ego itself is interesting in concept, do not get me wrong. Considering this is in fact a battle shonen, if not the battle shonen, if we're really talking about Dragon Ball like that, taking damage is a natural part of it. Like, heck, even Goku, Mr. I Dodge Everything, takes damage in Ultra Instinct. He just happens to. It'd be like that with ability that sometimes. So the ability to convert damage into power is really, really good. It really takes the standard convention of shonen characters, especially characters of Vegeta's archetype, which are really like head-on brawlers and bruisers who take a lot of damage just naturally, will sit there and give their opponents free hits. It takes a really good part of Vegeta's character and gives a positive spin to it, giving more power for more damage. But the issue that I have with it is that Vegeta is arguably one of the worst characters you could give the form to, because Vegeta does not have any healing factor of any kind. And unfortunately, unlike in certain scenarios where external power is gifted to somebody and or they happen to have a healing factor, it seems that despite having more energy, more power, we know typically more power in Dragon Ball means you have more ki, Vegeta's body still feels the damage. It still can get tired and get drained. It can be too beat up, which kind of negates the point of having the power in the first place. Because if your opponent is already beating you down and is doing vital area damage, like Granola was, I don't know, taking out your limbs, taking out your arms, taking out your legs, it doesn't matter how strong those legs are if your kneecaps are broken. It does not matter how many push-ups you can do if your arms are bent the wrong way. And it leaves Vegeta in this really awkward spot where his main ability in this new special form of his makes him worse. Because even as he gets more powerful, he can still lose. And it doesn't just happen once, it happens twice within the same arc that the form is introduced. First, Granola does him dirty. And you know what, I can let that slide mainly because I'm assuming that's the first time Vegeta ever used the form. He wasn't sure how it would affect him, his biology, all the stuff like that. Saiyan forms as mutations and stuff like that are very interesting of themselves, so obviously Vegeta, off the high of getting a new power-up, allowing himself into a new form, and fighting against the literal strongest in the universe, yeah, I can understand. But like, really? The same thing against Gas. And notably, he doesn't even get to land a hit on Gas. He passes out before he reaches Gas. Wanna know why? Because he's just not optimized for the form. A character like Piccolo would benefit a lot from Ultra Ego, because the excess power could be used to fuel his regeneration, and thusly he could be an ever-ending cycle where he just keeps regenerating, keeps getting stronger. A character like Cell could benefit a lot from Ultra Ego, because obviously he has the same Namekian regeneration, stuff like that. Kid Buu, any of the Boos really, would benefit a lot from a form like Ultra Ego, because they have a really good healing factor. Imagine after the final explosion if Majin Buu had Ultra Ego. He would come back 10 quintillion times stronger, bro. It would be different. but Vegeta himself just isn't optimized for it. I'm not even sure how this form is going to progress. Unless Vegeta gets a healing factor, which I thought maybe he could go back to Yardrat for. I'm not sure if healing was one of their things, but still, like, he needs something. Because right now, the form itself is too unbalanced against Vegeta. Notably, I don't even know how the form works for Gods of Destruction. Like, presumably this form would be effective for them, but who are they fighting? Like, what powerful creatures are they fighting? And what benefit would they get from taking damage if, once again, they don't have healing factors? I don't get why the form is even useful for their entire group, because it literally is just a liability. Imagine you're fighting somebody and they break your knee, and unfortunately, while you get a massive, juicy, girthy amp from breaking your knee's still broken. You can't walk. Uh-oh. Like, I just don't know how the form is meant to be optimized for battle, for combat, anything, especially considering you can use Hakai elsewhere. Obviously, Ultra Ego is likely the strongest form that Vegeta has access to, likely more powerful than Full Power Super Saiyan Blue, but even still, the fact that it has such a hefty drawback to the fact where you need to take damage to get stronger, but the damage lasts, is kind of awful. Like, the forming concept is really, really good, and I'm very interested to see where Toyotaro and Toriyama are going with it, but that main major flaw, on multiple levels, on a narrative level, because Vegeta can never use it against Goku and never do the proper rival thing, because, you know, Hakai's either Goku invalidates it, or Vegeta can never do it. 2, the character design front, once again, the meat brows are just too disgusting, and 3, just the form itself just doesn't seem to be that good. It doesn't seem to be well optimized for a series where you're going to be taking a lot of serious damage, and thusly all the power you gain is pretty much useless in a useless body. Hopefully Vegeta gets a healing factor, hopefully gets something, because Vegeta needs to make the form good in order for Vegeta to be good. Somebody help him. However, that's what I think. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that little notifications post out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon below. Use more as low as $1 $1 exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That with a Pencil, writing off.